Today what we are gonna do is section 5.1. Basically in this section you'll be given two equations, any two equations, like suppose x plus y is equal to 7 and x minus y is equal to minus 1. What we are gonna do is in these kind of problem you'll be given two equations. This is one equation, I name it number 1, I name is this equation as number 2. You're given two equations. What they want you to find is they want you to find the solution. By solution, what do they mean? When they say solution of these equations, they mean they want you to find the value of x and y. X and y. When you put the x and y here, the value should come out to be 7. And if you put that same value of x and y in this equation, you should get equal to -1. So solution of these two equations means the same value of x and y. When you put in these equations, your left hand side and right hand side should come out to be equal. Suppose, example, let's see, take an example 1. It says x plus 2y is equal to 2. X minus 2y is equal to 6. A part says check whether 4 negative 1 is a solution of this or no. They say check whether 4 negative 1 is a solution of this equation, these equations or no. I'll number these equations. This is the first equation, this is the second equation. Okay, this is my example now. This is my first equation, this is my second equation. They're asking whether this point here is a solution of these equations or not. By solution, again repeat, what do they mean by solution is when you put these points in this equation, your left hand right and right hand side should be same. Let's take equation 1. Let's take equation 1 first. Okay, x plus 2y is equal to 2. You're given this thing. What's the value of, if this is a point, what's x and y? Always the first one is the x, second one is the y. Put in here. What's your x? 4. Put in here. Plus 2 times y is -1 is equal to 2. You get 4 negative 2 is equal to 2. 2 is equal to 2. Is this true? 2 is equal to 2. Yes, it's true. That means this point satisfies this equation. This point satisfies this equation. But you still have to check for the second equation. So write second equation. 4 negative 1. We are checking for this. My second equation is x minus 2y is equal to 6. Put this point in this. X is 4. Y is -1. You get 4. What is -2 times -1? +2. 6. You get 6 is equal to 6. Is this true? 6 is equal to 6. That's true. This is also satisfied. This is also satisfied. That means this thing is a solution of both of the equations. Note. Again repeat. It has to be solution for both the equations, not just one equation. So you have to check for both the equations. Even if one of them is not satisfied, this is not the solution of these equations. Example, let's take one more example. Same problem. They say -4 3 is the solution of this thing. Again, how do you check? Put this point in the equation. Let's see equation 1. You have x plus 2y is equal to 2. Put here. What's your x? -4. What's your y? 3. Put here. You get -4 plus 6 is equal to 2. Which is 2 is equal to 2. That's correct. That means this point satisfies this equation. But we have to check for another equation 2 also. Let's check for equation 2. So you have x minus 2y is equal to 6. Put here. What's your x? -4. -2. 3 is equal to 6. You get -4, -6 is equal to 6. You get -10 is equal to 6. Is this true? Is -10 equal to 6? No. So that means this point satisfies this equation, but it does not satisfy this equation. It has to satisfy both the equations. Then only it's the solution. If it does not satisfy one of the equations, then that means it's not the solution. So your answer will be, it is not the solution for this system of equations. System because there are two. And in this case, 4 -1 is a solution of system of equation. So basically when they say solution, what do they mean is when you put those points in the equation, your left hand side, your this side of the equal to sign and this side of the equal to sign, they both should come out to be equal. If both the equations are satisfied, both of the equals, they give you the same correct answer, that means it is a solution. Even if one of them is wrong, that means it's not a solution. After this, I want you to go to page 543, checkpoint 1. 543, checkpoint 1. Try that. You will be able to do this. Okay. Next thing is something known as, now this is very important topic, substitution method. Substitution method. What is this substitution method? So now you will be given two equations. 5x minus 4y is equal to 9. X minus 2y is equal to -3. You are given these two equations. I'm numbering them. This is a number on the side. I'm numbering them. This is my equation 1. This is my equation 2. I numbered them. Now we have to solve using substitution method. By solving means what we are gonna do is, you're given equations. They are saying find the value of x and y, which will satisfy both my equations. I have to find the value of x and y myself now. They are not giving me x and y. I need to find it myself. So when I put those x and y here, those values should come out to be equal to 9. And when I put the same x and y here, it should come out to be -3. How do we do it? First method is substitution method. Okay, first how you're gonna do is, either usually you can select any equation you want, but I would like you to choose the one which has coefficient of either x or y as 1. So I repeat, the first step 1, let's write stepwise. Step 1, look for equation with coefficient of x or y 1 as 1. You're gonna, so what we're gonna do is, what is coefficient? Coefficient is a number in front of x, in front of y, in front of x, in front of y. They're saying look for the one with the coefficient as 1. So first step is this thing. Let's see, what's the coefficient of x here? 5. What's the coefficient of y here? -4. What's the coefficient of x here? If it's nothing, there is 1. 1 times there is 1. What's the coefficient of y here? -2. So which equation I'm gonna look? It says look for the equation with coefficient of x or y as 1. Okay, you are saying, oh, the coefficient of x here is 1, so I'm gonna look at equation 2. Let's consider equation 2 then. Write equation. Let me do it on another page. Let's write the steps here. Okay, let's do it here. Let's write here equation 2. So my first step is find the equation with the coefficient as 1. I found my equation 2 has a coefficient of x as 1. Next step is step 2. Okay, in step 1, first you find the equation. Okay, you find, or if there is no equation with coefficient 1, choose any equation. So here in this example, I found x has coefficient as 1. So I'm going to choose equation 2. But in case, there is, there you're like, oh, it was 5, 4. Suppose here was 3. Here it's -2. You're like, oh, there is no coefficient as 1. What I'm supposed to do now? Choose any equation you want. It's up to you. It's up to you which equation you want. Usually you choose the one with coefficient as 1. But if there is no coefficient as 1, it's up to you to choose anything you want. Step 2. Okay, next step 2 is the equation you chose. The equation you chose. For that, write one variable in terms of the other. What do they mean then? What do they mean by variable? Variables, what are variables? Variables are values you don't know. In this equation, what are the variables? X and Y, because that's the only thing. And 5 is 5, I know. 4 is -4, I know. 9 is 9, I know. What I don't know is X and Y. So your variables in general are X and Y. But what does the question say? So step 1 was to find the equation. I found it. Next they are saying is the equation you chose. So they're talking about the same equation you chose. They're saying write one equation in terms of the other. So what you're gonna do is, okay, in bracket, if you're choosing this one, don't get confused, I'm just trying, you will get this with a lot of problems when you do it, how easy it is. It's just that I'm trying to make it as simple as as possible for you. So what you're gonna do is the equation you chose, the coefficient 1, the term which has coefficient 1, here x had 1, right? You will keep x on one side, take everything else on the other side. So what x I'll keep here? What's extra? Plus minus 2y. It's subtracting. I will add 2y on both sides. I get x is equal to minus 3 plus 2y. That's what it says. The equation you chose, for that write one variable in terms of the other. I wrote x in terms of y. I kept x on one side and everything else on the other side. Usually you keep the term with coefficient as 1 on one side and take everything else on the other side. If there is no equation, you know, with coefficient as 1, then you take choose anything. Choose x or y, it's up to you which one you want to choose. Keep one on one, keep, like if you're choosing x, keep x on one side, take everything else on the other side. If you're choosing y, keep y on one side and everything else on the other side. It depends on you which method you want to choose. Okay, this is how you do it. This is your step 2. Write one variable in terms of the other. Okay, step 3. Substitute the value of the variable you found in step 2 in the other equation you did not choose. You did not choose in step 1. What does it mean? Substitute the value of the variable you found in step 2. So okay, they are saying value of the variable. We found x is equal to this. They are asking you to substitute this thing, value of the variable, this thing, in the other equation you did not choose in step 1. Which equation I did not choose in step 1? Note I chose my equation 2. So I will substitute in equation. So let's write first equation 1. What was my equation 1? 5x minus 4y is equal to 9. What they say is, put the value you found in step 2 in the equation you did not choose in step 1. I chose equation 2. I did not choose equation 1. So I'm going to substitute in equation 2. Very common mistake. If you are choosing here equation 2, you have to use equation 1 here. You cannot use the same equations both ways, you know. You will get a wrong answer. You have to choose different. So plug in here. What you're going to plug in here? You're like, oh, they say substitute. What do they mean by substitute the value? You found here x is equal to this thing. So if x is equal to this thing, wherever you see x in the equation, you're going to substitute this thing there. Make sure when you're substituting, you put in a bracket. So x is equal to this thing. Here I see x. Here I'm going to write, rather than writing x, I'm going to write this whole thing here. Minus 4y is equal to 9. What do you get? Open the bracket. Minus 15 plus 10y minus 4y is equal to 9. Combine the like terms, y terms. What is 10y minus 4y? 6y. 15 is subtracting. I add 15 both sides. You get 6y is equal to what? 24. 6 is multiplying. I divide by 6. What is 24 divided by 6? 4. Y is equal to 4. You're like, oh, I found the y value. But now how do I find the x value? Step 4. Substitute the value you found in step 3 in step 2. So whatever value you found in step 4, substitute in step 2. Here substitute x is equal to minus 3 plus 2 times 4. You get minus 3 plus 8, 5. This is the answer. You can always check. Put these values in these two equations. In these two equations, your left hand side and right hand side should come out to be equal. I again repeat steps. I'm again repeating steps. Look for equations with coefficient x or y as 1. I look here, x coefficient is 4, y is minus 4, x is 1 minus 2, y is minus 2. So which equation I'm going to choose? 2, because here the coefficient is 1. If there is no coefficient as 1, it's up to you which equation you want to choose. You can choose anything you want. Okay, but it just makes it easier. It makes it much more easier if you choose the one with coefficient as 1. That's what it says. It says the equation you chose. So the equation you chose, for that write one variable in terms of the other. Usually the one with the coefficient as 1 you keep on one side and everything else you take on the other side. X had a coefficient as 1. I'll keep this on one side. I'll take everything else on the other side. Minus 2y, it's subtracting, I add 2y. So it becomes x is equal to this thing. See, my x is on one side, everything else is on the other side. If whenever you're doing this in this step, what they are saying is you just need either just x. I'm not talking about 2x. You just need x on one side and everything else on the other side. Okay, then they are saying in the equation you did not choose in the first step. In the third step, you choose the other equation. I chose second equation. I did not choose the first. So I'm going to use now first equation. Substitute this value in the first equation. Note x is equal to this thing. So wherever you see x, you're going to plug in there and solve. So, and then you solve. You will get y is equal to something. Substitute this value y in your step 2. You'll get the x value. After this, I want you to check also, and then you will be doing checkpoint 2, page 545. Checkpoint 2, page 545 you're supposed to do, and the answer you will get is -2 and 5. Make sure you're getting this answer. And for checkpoint 1, when you do question, for A part you will get solution. For B part you will get not a solution. Check your answers when you do these problems, checkpoints. Okay, this thing is substitution method. Okay, we'll do more problems on substitution method. I'll show you. Okay, but next thing I want to go is something known as addition method. If no method is specified, it's up to you. Whichever method you feel comfortable with, use any. But if the question specifies or use substitution or use elimination method, you have to use those methods. Okay, in elimination methods, let's take an example. 3x plus 2y is equal to 48. And then you have 9x minus 8y is equal to -24. You got these two equations. They say you have to use addition method to solve. Okay, again, let me repeat the steps before I go on to the addition method. What are the steps is step 1. Step 1, what they say is write, this is my equation 1, this is my equation 2, I'm numbering them. Write both equations in standard form. What is standard form? Ax plus by is equal to c. So first should be the x term, then plus the y term is equal to the constant. Is my x term first? Yes. Then my y term is equal to constant. Perfect. X term, y term is equal to constant. If not, you move them here, there, and write it in standard form. Once you wrote in standard form, what you're gonna do is, in this case, I don't have to do step 1 because they're already done in my question. In step 2, what they say, on the side, write coefficient of each variable. What did they mean by that? Okay, what's the coefficient of x here? Write 3. What's the coefficient of y? 2. Here 9. Here -8. Write it like this. On a side, okay, on the paper, write like this. Okay, and what in step 3 is okay, so these are coefficients for my first equation. These are the coefficients for my second equation. First equation 3, y is 2. Second, this thing is this thing. Multiply / divide the two equations with a number other than 0, not 0, other than 0, such that it becomes same number with opposite sign. Oh, you're like, oh my god, you wrote such a big thing. I'm supposed to figure out. What they're trying to say is you have to make either these two. What you have to do is you have to make either these are x. Remember, this is x, this is y, this is x, this is y. So these are my x, these are my y. What you have to do is either you have to make either both x the same but with opposite sign. So if one is 3, other should be -3. If one is 9, other should be -9. So either you try to make both of them same with opposite, or you can use y also. It's up to you which one you want to choose. Use y also. So choose any. If you're choosing y, if you're making y this one as 2, you have to make this as -2. If you're making this as a -8, you have to make this as 8. Same number with opposite signs. So what do you think? Which one decide which one you want to do. Whether you want to choose x or whether you want to choose y. You're like, oh, I choose x. You choose x. So I need to make, this thing is 3, this thing is 9. What should I multiply? Can I make this 3 as 9 by multiplying by something? Can I multiply? See, I said we have to make opposite, right? If this thing is, can we make multiply 3? Let's see, can I make this as this thing? 9. Can I multiply 3 with something so that becomes 9? Yes, I can multiply it with 3. So I write here 3. So I'm going to multiply this whole thing with 3. But note, I don't want 9. I want negative 9. So I'm going to multiply with negative 3. You have to make the same number with opposite signs. So if I multiply negative 3 and 3, it becomes negative 9. Okay, what about here? Should I multiply this equation? No, because this becomes negative 9. This is already 9. I don't care. I'm done. I'm done. So what happens is, once you figure out what you have to multiply the equation with, you're going to multiply the original equations with that whole number. So here I figured it out. I have to multiply the original equation 1, whole equation with negative 3. So you had 3x plus 2y is equal to 48. Multiply this whole equation with negative 3. What does it become? What is negative 3? You're going to multiply each and every term with negative 3. What is negative 3 times 3x? Negative 9x. What is 2x times negative 3? Negative 6y. What is 48 times negative 3? Negative 144. You get this thing. So you multiply this negative 3. And the next equation, note, we are just multiplying by 1. So if you multiply by 1 means the same thing. So you get 9x minus 8y is equal to negative 24. You're like, oh, what's the purpose of doing this? The reason of doing this is, now you make a line. Now we're going to add them. What is minus 9x plus 9x? So you had 9x, I take out 9x, they cancel. What is negative 6y minus 8y? Negative 14y. What does it be? And what is negative 144, negative 44, 24? You're adding them. What is negative 9x plus 9x? They cancel. You add these. What is negative 6, negative 18, negative 14y? When you add them, you get 8, negative 168. Yeah. So you're like, what I'm supposed to do next? Yeah. So what you're going to do is, I just need y value. Divide by negative 14. So you get, implies y is equal to what? What is negative 160 divided by negative 14? So you get 1s are 14, 14 1s are 14, and then you get 28, which is 2. So you get y as 12. So you got your y. You're like, how am I supposed to find my x? Take this y value and put in any of the original equations. Take this y value and put in any of the original equations. Okay, you are like, oh, let's put in this y value I got as 12. I'll choose the first equation. It's up to you which equation you want. Put in there. So 3x plus 2y we got as 12. Put here 12. Solve for x. Subtract 24. You get x is equal to negative, positive 20. 3x is equal to positive 24. Divide by 3. X is equal to 8. See, you got your x value and y value. Substitute in the original equation and see whether you're getting your correct answer or not. So this was addition method. I again repeat, first you will write in standard form. In my question, they were already in standard form. Then you're going to write the coefficient of each and every term the same. Okay, then you will try to make the coefficient of either x the same but with opposite sign, same number with opposites, or with the y. Suppose in this case, okay, if I want to make the x same, here it's 3, here it's 9. Can I make 3 as 9? Yes, if I multiply by 3, but I need the opposite sign too. So I'm going to multiply by negative 3. So that's how I got negative 9. But suppose if I had to do it, I was trying to make y term same. Here it's 2, here it's negative 8. Can I make 2 as 8? Yes, if I multiply by 4, correct? 4 times 2 is 8, and here I had negative 8. Same number with opposite signs. That means this is correct too. Okay, you can do other that way also. You're still gonna get the same answer. But here I chose as negative 3 and 1. Once you got this, what you're gonna do is you're gonna multiply. Since you got first equation with negative 3, you're gonna multiply the whole equation, not just this term. You're gonna multiply the y term also with negative 3 and also the constant sum. So write the first equation and multiply the whole equation with negative 3. Negative 3 times 3x becomes negative 9x. Negative 3 times plus 2y becomes negative 6y. And then you multiply, you got this thing. Write the second equation just underneath it. So what is negative 9x plus 9x? Cancel. Add these two. You got this, and then solve for y. Once you got the y value, substitute in any equation you want. Once you substitute in any equation you want, find the x value. That's how you do addition method. I want you to try checkpoint 3, okay, page 546, and the answer you will get is 2, -1. So your x will come out to be 2 and y will come out to be -1. Okay, let's do one more example. Okay, we have 2 more problems, that's it. Okay, these are special kind of problems. Special kind of problems. You'll see why I'm saying these are special kind of problems. Okay, let's see an example. They say you have to use addition method for this. Addition method. The question is 2x is equal to 7, y is equal to -17. The next thing you have 5y is equal to 17 minus 3y. 3x. Okay. First of all, in addition method, what's the main step? First step, write the equation in standard form. First x, then y is equal to constant. Here, is it like that? First x is equal to y is equal to constant. No, it should be x, then y is equal to constant. My constant is this side, but y is this side. I have to take the other side. What do? Let's take equation 1, equation 2. Let's consider equation 1. You have 2x is equal to 7y minus 17. Is this in standard form? No. First should be x, then y is equal to constant. But my y is here, so y is adding, so I will subtract y term both sides. You get 2x minus 7y is equal to -17. Now this thing is in standard form. Okay. What about equation 2? You have 5y is equal to 17 minus 3x. Note my standard form is x, then y is equal to constant. Is it like that? No, my x term is this side. What is my x term doing? Subtracting. I will add both sides. I'll write x term first, then the y term is equal to the constant. Now they are in standard form. Now these become now these are not my first and second equation. Now this and this becomes my first and second equation. Okay, because I need them in standard form. What was the step 2? On the side, write coefficients of each and every variable. Let's do step 2. Now this is my equation. What's the coefficient of x here? 2. What's the coefficient of y? -7. What's the coefficient of x? Write x underneath x, y underneath y. You got this thing. Okay. Step 3. They say either for x, this is my x, these are my y. X, y. This is my first equation, this is my second equation. They are saying either you make the coefficients of x as same or coefficients of y as same. Can you write 2 as 3? No. If I multiply 2 by anything, it's not going to give me 3. What about y? Can I write -7 as 5? No. You're like, then what I'm supposed to do? But can I multiply both equations with something? Something which comes in 2's table also, 3's tables also. Let's check. How do you check? Let's write 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 5 is 10, 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, let's write 3 also. 3 times 3 is 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. Oh, I got 6. Which is the same. So yes, what should I multiply the first equation with? So it becomes 6. 6 is the same, so 3. Because here it's 2 already. 2 times 3 gives me 6. What should I multiply this equation with? 3. What should I multiply 3 with so I get 6? 2. But note, you need the same number with opposite sign. So this is also giving you 6. This is also giving you 6. So 1 you multiply with a negative sign. You choose whichever equation you want. Okay, you got this thing. You're like, but how I'm supposed to solve this? So what they are saying, your first equation was 2x. Your first equation was 2x minus 7y is equal to -17. Your next equation you got is 3x plus 5y is equal to 17. You got this thing. These two are the equations. And you figured out the first one you were multiplying with 3 and the second one you were multiplying with -2. So right here 3, right here -2. Let's multiply. 3 times 2x, 6x. -7y minus times 3, -21. Okay, this becomes 17 times 3, 51. Okay, this times becomes 6x. Note it's negative. So -6x, -10y, -34. You got this thing. Now make a line and what is 6x minus 6x? Cancel. What is -21 minus 10? -31y. What does this become? -585. Okay. You're like, what I'm supposed to do now? You're supposed to do, okay, let's solve further. I need just y. -31 is multiplying, so I divide by -31. You get y is 85 over 31. You're like, oh, I cannot divide them. This is very complicated. It's okay. It's okay. It does not matter. Just keep it like that, you know. It's okay. You can get fractions too. Now, how do you do it? What's the next step? Once you found the value of y, choose any equation and substitute that value y. I choose equation first. This was my equation 1. Put this y value here. You get 2x is minus 7 times 85 over 31 is equal to negative 17. You got this thing. Let's solve. Let's solve. What do you get? Let's solve what you get here. Okay. You get 2x, okay, minus, let's do 85 times 5, so 85 times 7. Negative 17. I won't suggest you to convert into decimals, go into fractions, solve. See, 7 times 5 is 35. 8 7s are 56, 59. That's how I got it. But now this thing is subtracting, so I'm gonna add both sides, this thing. So you get 2x is equal to negative 17 plus 595 over 31. You got this thing, okay? And let's solve this. Okay, 31, you can use calculator, okay? 31, you have to make same base here. Here base is 1. So you multiply 31 here, multiply 31 here, okay? Use calculator and solve, make common base, add. And then divide by 2, what you will get your answer as x as 34 over 31. When you use calculator and solve, that's what you get, x. So you get x as this and y as this, okay? You can always plug in the original equations and check. This was equation 1 and equation 2. You can plug in there and always check your answer. So you're gonna do checkpoint for page 548 and you will get answer as 60 over 17 negative 11 over 17. Make sure you do these problems. If you have any doubt, ask me, okay? Okay, next thing I want you to do is very interesting is, okay, there is some concept of, okay, so you have 4x plus 6y is equal to 12. Then you have 6x plus 9y is equal to 12. You have this equation. You're like, they say find the value of x and y. They are not telling you which one you want to use, which one you don't want to use. It's up to you which method you want to use or which you don't want to use. So let's do, like, you know, substitution. We can use elimination method. Okay, elimination, I'm saying addition method. How you gonna choose? Is this in standard form? Let's my equation, first one, equation 2. Yes, they are in standard form. First x, then y is equal to constant. First x, then y is equal to constant. Okay. Step 2. What do you do? Write the coefficients. 4, 6, 6, 9. These are my x, these are my y's. Okay. Can I write 4 as 6? 6 as 4? No. 6 as 9? 9 as 6? No. Let's write 4. Let's write 4's table. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. Right, right, 6 times 6 is 6 times 2 is 12. Oh, I got 12. So if I multiply this equation with 3 and this equation with 2, these both become 12. But I need one as negative 12. So I multiply one thing with negative 3. So I know our first equation I'm going to multiply with negative 3. This next equation I'm going to multiply with 2. Let's do it. 6y is equal to 12. This thing I'm going to multiply by negative 3. The next equation you have 6x plus 9y is equal to 12. This thing I'm going to multiply by 2. Let's see what you get. Negative 12x plus 18, negative 18y is equal to negative 36. From here what do you get? 12x minus plus 18y is equal to 24. Right underneath each other. This equation, write that equation underneath this equation. Solve. 12x minus 12x plus 12x, cancel. Minus 18y plus 18y, cancel. So what are you left here? 0 is equal to what? What is negative 36 minus 24? You get negative 12. Is 0 equal to negative? You're getting something like this. You're not getting x is equal to something, y is equal to something. You're getting 0 is equal to something because everything got cancelled here. Is this true? No. So whenever you're getting something like this which is not true at all, you're getting 0 is equal to 12, 0 is equal to 5, 0 is equal to 6, something which is not true. That means no solution. So there is no value of x and y which you put in both equations and your left hand side and right hand side will be equal. After this you're going to do checkpoint 5, page 549, and solution is no solution. I want you to try this. Okay, let's do one more example. So yeah, y is equal to 3x minus 2, 15 minus 5, 15x minus 5 is equal to 10. They say find the value of x and y. Which, this is my first equation, this is my second equation. They say use any method you want. Any method you want. Which method you gonna choose? In this case, remember, what was the substitution method? What did the substitution method, the first method you chose? First method you learned about substitution method. What you had to do is first find the coefficient with 1, okay, and the next step was write one equation. Remember we did here, okay, how is it? Okay. Yeah. The first we chose one equation and then we wrote that one term in terms of the other. Note in this case my y is already written in terms of x. My y is already on one side, something else on the other side. It's just easier to use first method. It's up to you which method you want to use. Both will give you the same answer. But since I'm at step, I skip so many steps in this case. I'm already on step 2 if I use substitution method. So I'll just use substitution method. What do they say? Once you have y value, substitute in the other equation. So this value I'm going to substitute in this equation. It becomes 15x minus 5. Wherever I see y, I'm going to put this. Whenever you substitute, make sure you put in a bracket. Multiply. 15 times this minus 15x. This becomes positive 10 is equal to 10. What happens? Solve. Cancel. You get 10 is equal to 10. Is 10 is equal to 10? True. So if you're getting something like this, 10 is equal to 10, which is true, that means infinitely many solutions. So you get infinitely many solutions. So if you're getting something like this which is not true, no solutions, this thing, infinitely many solutions. There are like so many solutions. You can pick hundreds of solutions which you can put here and you'll still get the correct answer. Infinitely many solutions means it's gonna give you a lot of answers, same answers. I want you to try checkpoint 6, page 550. You're gonna try these problems. Also, you're gonna try, okay, I want you to, this is your homework. You're gonna try page 555. Okay, page 555. I want you to try, okay, 1, 3. Okay, then you're gonna try 7. Okay, 11. You will try 15, 17. Okay, 19. Okay, 25, 27, maybe 29, and then you're gonna try 31 for sure. You are trying, and 37 you will try. Yeah, try these. So this is all these problems is your homework. Okay, and then this will be due on, I want this on, I'll send you through the email, but this is your homework, all these problems here. Okay, thank you.